Hey, this is I Want to Like This, of course, but it's not the standard format. Jerry and I actually kind of recorded this last minute. The recorded episode we had with a guest kind of got deleted. So we scrambled, and we had just seen the movie Jurassic World, so we're pretty high on that, and another movie that will get mentioned here. So today we just sat down, actually talked about the podcast, talked about what we like in movies, talked about movies that surprised us, and we're kind of the reverse. And a new ideas for the podcast, new questions to ask guests. It's really just me and my producer and best friend sitting down and bullshitting about the movies that we just saw and the podcast in general. It's really kind of meta and self-reflective, so if you don't like this, we're assholes and I'm sorry. But if you like us bantering, we are going to do more episodes where we talk about things we actually liked in movies. It surprised us. They can't obviously hold a full 45-minute conversation just being positive about one movie. So we're going to do them in shorts, it seems, with other people. So, God, I hope you listen to this, like this. Follow us on the links below. Give us a comment, whatnot. I really had fun talking to my friend for 45 minutes and spending the day with him in a situation that wasn't about, oh, we gotta talk to this guest, oh, we gotta get to this person's house, oh, shit, do you have your notes? And all the work that comes with doing this podcast normally. I love this podcast normally. I'm not gonna change much about this podcast because, like the title says, I want to like this. So enjoy this episode with Jerry Gossam and myself.
Got real quiet.
It got quiet because I'm looking something up. Shut up.
Alright, we're not recording right now.
No, it's okay. You can record. We can keep...
We'll keep that air of reality going.
Yeah, right? Like we're real people talking to each other like we like each other.
I fucking hate you.
It's okay. I'm gonna kill you one day.
I certainly hope.
What? That I'm gonna kill him? We've already gotten over that predates you being his girlfriend. Oh, we've already discussed this. I'm going to be the end of Jerry.
Oh.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I have a long life expectancy, so when I'm ready to die,
So he says.
I'm killing him first. Like that's my goal, is to kill
What if
him.
What if you start dying tomorrow? That's not fair to me. You should let me live on and carry on our legacy.
Yeah, but what are you really going to accomplish without me?
I don't know.
I'm the motivator.
I know, and
Yes,
when
you
we
are
get
the
together, you do a shitty job of doing that, though.
I'm the one who always gets us to record.
Says the person that was sick from a ride home, and I literally had to be like, "Hey, coming over to
I
record."
biked a
No,
long
not
time in the
tonight.
sun.
All right, I'm on my way tomorrow.
I blew out
then.
2 tires. Blew out 2 tires tubes. The worst part is I blew out the first one. I hit my back tire, hit a ditch, really bad one, like a pothole, and it popped. And it went right up into my ass and my fucking tailbone. Like, my back was killing me after that. So I had a spare tube, and I replaced the tube. And then I'm riding down the way, and I fucking picked up a nail at some point. So the front one is just slowly draining. So I pump it back up and try to ride again. And I'm trying to ride it out, trying to get home. Because I'm almost at the end. I'm almost to Marengo.
Yeah.
And so that still puts me like 10 miles from home. But I'm trying to get these like 12 miles or so, 10 miles, 12 miles or so, back to get home from fucking there. Nothing. So I'm just walking my bike for miles. And then these 2 fucking country guys in this truck, they find me and they're like, "Hey, you need a ride?" And I'm like, "Fuck." I'm always terrified of like the deliverance moment.
You need a ride? Yeah, but not from you.
Yeah, but I don't want to get fucked. We had this really cool discussion about like the ideas of socialism in American government and how socialism isn't a bad thing. I had a conversation with 2 farmers about socialism. That was actually a very positive discussion. So it was pretty cool.
That's not something you hear every day.
I know, right? I think farmers should understand.
Trust me, I grew up around farmers.
So did I.
A lot. Not that all farmers are bad, but the ones that I've known were assholes.
Oh yeah, especially from my hometown. Oh God, screw that town. Hey, welcome. I want to like this. It's me, Thomas Sinclair, and Jerry Gossam sitting down. My assistant, Ann Hawker, Jerry's girl, sitting here too with us, so she might chime in. This is take number 2. We lost the podcast that was supposed to go up today, and that's why this podcast is so goddamn late.
Yeah, it's gonna be very late.
It is, but today we're just gonna sit and talk about the podcast itself and what we've got going on movie-wise and how we kind of want to change the podcast a bit. Because we love movies. We love movies.
We really don't like defecating all over movies and ideas as much as it might seem.
We don't.
only enjoy defecating and shitting on Zack Snyder.
We do. I fucking hate Zack Snyder. But the thing is, the whole idea of I want to like this is a positive thing. That's why I always make people tell me what they would do differently. And I always make it about something that they went into it wanting to love. I don't let people just pick a movie that they think sucks and they didn't want to go see it, they weren't excited for it, and they just want to shit on a movie. Like, you will never hear me talk about, I will never talk about Batman versus Superman. Because I don't have any hope for it, I don't have any faith in it, I just don't like it. I'm going to talk about Sucker Punch because I got really excited because the visuals was really pretty. And then I got really excited because they're making a Superman movie, and they quoted that there was a hope. So, you know, I had someone else talked about that on the podcast. So, we always going to talk about movies that the person who brings up the subject they are excited about, and we don't want to shit on things. And today we're going to talk about 2 movies that we kind of got excited about. Well, one movie, the movies that we actually got excited about and lived up to it, and a couple movies that just exceeded our expectations
beyond all belief.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the reverse of what I want to like this is, where we're like, oh, well, okay, we'll watch it because it's there. And then we're like, oh my god, this was fucking fun. And I love movies that are fun. And, God, let's start out with what we just saw today, because you and I just got done... We don't have the rights to it.
Yeah, so that was
we gotta
our rendition.
Yeah, that's as close as it's getting. But we saw Jurassic World, and I went into this one...
Second time today.
Second.
We
What
went
are you
in...
talking about? You only saw it once.
Anyway,
You were with us.
yeah.
they don't know that, dude. You don't have to be a dick to your girl.
I totally forgot.
It's
But
okay, we'll
no,
watch it again.
she feels like she watched it because we talked about it in the car like
This
a
is
bunch.
true.
It's
We
like-
did not shut up about
Oh,
it.
it's so good, and I was so scared of it.
Work.
I was so terrified because it's like I thought they were going to do the Hollywood thing, which we'll talk about later in previews, where they show. Actually, screw it. Hollywood. I don't know when it started to just be the like. I know it's a common gripe with a lot of people that Hollywood just shows the entire fucking film in the trailer, but it's a legitimate gripe.
Yeah.
And
Like, okay, being a student of film, I took a film course last summer where the professor, the day that we went over how to make a trailer, the one rule that you do not break is never reveal anything in the trailer from Act 3. Ever. But Hollywood doesn't think that's a rule they should go
it's
by.
all over.
Yes.
What was it? When we were there, we saw a preview for a movie. Where at one, it's there's a movie called No Escape.
Oh, yeah.
And while the movie looks, movie looks like it's Oscar fodder.
Yeah.
Like it's like Owen Wilson trying to do a really dramatic action adventure
and
kind of
then,
role.
who's the guy that used to be James Bond?
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan. Yeah.
Our friend Sherry's favorite Bond is Pierce Brosnan because she really loved Remington Steele, and she thinks Daniel Craig is ugly, and she's fucking crazy. No, but like one of the things they say in it, like, oh, we got to make it to the embassy, and in the trailer they show the embassy getting blown up.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, you just ruined like the end of your second act or your third act.
The whole thing is literally like the way the trailer plays out for that was basically it's just a synopsis of what it is. Oh, there's this battle. Oh, we gotta run. Oh, we gotta get to here. Shit gets blown up along the way. That's it.
Yeah,
That's nothing that I could not when it comes out to DVD. I could read that on the back cover and be like, probably not gonna watch this.
exactly. It was just one of those things where it was so obviously the whole film's ideas in that trailer that it makes spending that money on the movie kind of superfluous.
Oh, I'm moving.
Yeah,
That's a thing.
What happened? Oh, there's a lot. Oh yeah, there's a flashlight. Oh, we're in the dark. like we are about most things, like how we'd like to be about movies. I would like to be in the dark about the plot holes and what's coming, and they don't let us do that anymore. Like, the main problem I had with Jurassic Park, because I got afraid they showed too much, is because
Excuse me.
I saw Indominus Rex.
Yeah.
Like, that was never the plan, but then the action figures come out and they're like, oh, we're just going to put all this stuff for Indominus Rex out. It's like,
yeah.
I would be happier if I never saw that dinosaur before the movie. I don't think it took away from anything, because we don't see enough of the dinosaur. Like,
the one thing it takes away from is the fact that it was like, it's got raptor stuff in it.
yeah, I
Like,
knew.
well, obviously, because we know what the dinosaur looks like because of the trailer.
Yeah.
So it's like, that
So
kind of
we
ruins
know,
that
like,
moment.
with its forelimbs and everything, it's got grasping forelimbs, that it's part, like, it has to
And
be
the
part
very
raptor.
long snout.
Yeah, and it's
the way that
skinnier
it
snout. And the
stands.
way, it's, yeah,
more
it's
raptor
so
than
obvious.
it is T-Rex.
Exactly. It's just big like a T-Rex.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that gives away something like a point later on in the story with the actual raptors, which I thought was clever, and it would have been great had I just been the reveal then.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, there's something about the unknown that's, like, man fears the unknown.
Yes.
So, like, not seeing that dinosaur for the longest time makes it scarier somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't see the T-Rex at first in Jurassic Park for a while. Like, the entire first act, you don't see the T-Rex. The T-Rex is teased in the first act, but you don't see it.
No.
You see a skeleton when we first walk in, so it's like, oh, this is the scope of the size. We know what this is. It's T-Rex. And you don't know the T-Rex.
Well, that's not true. You get a really slight glimpse when he's tearing apart the goat in the first act when they run.
That's
through.
not the first act. That's right into the second act.
That's right as they come into the park when they're running around.
No. When they first bring the goat, nothing happens. The goat just lies there, remember? It's not till around with the rain, when the storm happens and the power gets shut off because of Nedry, that you see the T-Rex for the first time.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's in the second act.
Mm-hmm.
That is the downfall situation.
Yes.
So you don't even, you see it in the rain, you see the shadows, you see the darkness, and then you see it just come to life, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great reveal.
Yes.
And I think they aim for that with the camouflage reveal. Because before that, all you see is behind the trucks and everything. And we're not going to talk too much about what goes on in Jurassic World, because there is someone who wants to do an honest-to-God episode of I Want to Like This. Because first, I think they built it up too much because of the trailer, and they built it up too much in their head going in. I think my fear and trepidation of the trailer giving away too much helped me in the end.
Yes.
Because I lowered my bar going into it.
But they didn't. They did not. There was so much in the
good.
movie.
There's so much more to each scene. Everything they give a snippet to, there's so much more to it. And the characters, like, everyone's performance is great. I really enjoyed it. Your heel is a dick. You want him to die.
Oh my god, and he lasts forever.
He does.
It was wonderful.
And
Kingpin and Daredevil, which is amazing.
there's comedic moments that are played to but not played up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my big thing. You can play to a comedic moment, which is you set all the dominoes up to play to that little joke, and then you move on. Playing up just means it's this joke, and it's this joke, it's so funny, and everyone's overacting, and it's just terrible.
Yeah, the subtleties that they do in the whole movie.
When people play it straight.
Yes.
Because they play to the joke, not play up the joke.
Yeah, they just, that's it, they lay it out, and then they kind of move on.
Yeah. That's the difference between some of the jokes in Austin Powers, the spy,
just doesn't end.
International Man of Mystery, and then all the other ones afterwards, where they just, let's keep it going. Which is, they're like, Gold Member's such shit.
This is true.
But, like, that's, like, this movie, I think, just did well. I really enjoyed it. We saw a couple previews for things that I'm like, okay, I'll watch that, or, no. Every time I see a trailer or a commercial or anything for the movie Dope, that's one that I will see in theaters. That feels like this generation's version of, like, American Pie or Breakfast or The Breakfast Club, or it's one of those generational.
Very great coming of age film. What it's gonna be. It's gonna be awesome.
Or Superbad.
Yes,
it's a coming of age film about friendship, about girls, and about the whole thing.
Struggling through school.
And it's told from a different perspective. It's told finally from the not white kid perspective.
Yeah, the not very Americanized version.
Yeah, well, only one
American.
section of America that we focused on, white suburbia. I wonder if there's going to be a token white kid. There is a token white kid, and it's the guy. There's a token white guy, and it's the dude from Workaholics.
Oh yeah.
And I'm fine with that. Batman vs Superman looks like shit. Pixels looks, like Adam Sandler fodder with heroes that I liked in video
The
games.
beginning of that trailer made it seem so epic.
And then
you
Adam
see
Sandler, and
Adam
you're
Sandler, and it's
instant regret.
not that Adam Sandler is bad. It's just
The movies he makes nowadays is just
it's
not
it's
good.
also like one of those other. I felt lied to when I saw Adam Sandler. I felt lied to because the build up for this trailer, the way it starts out, it's just the overused.
Yeah.
And then it just title, and then you're just like, oh, it's gonna be this epic about aliens, and
And
then
it's video games, and
fucking
I'm still down.
yeah,
and then
it's
Adam
like,
Sandler.
Adam
shows up.
Sandler stands there, and it's like, what? This is gonna be like a bro comedy kind of movie.
You know who I would love to see in that movie instead?
Who?
Simon Pegg, Nick Frost.
Yeah,
They are the British better versions.
of Sandler and James.
Yes,
Yeah,
they are.
I know. It sucks that like the whole Simon Pegg thing that went on, where he's kind of like
No, his makes sense.
it
'Cause
does,
there is
but
a-
it's kind of sad though.
No, because there is a measure of maturity and childishness you have to have, and he worries that people are too far in one and not the other.
Yeah.
I don't think he vocalized it the best way when he did the initial
Yeah,
speech.
it just kind of seemed like he was very turned off by
Yeah.
movies. So it's kind of like,
Well, because no one's. Once again, it's something that's stagnated.
yes.
Speaking of comic book movies and stuff that is stagnated, the two other trailers we saw were Fantastic Four and Ant-Man.
Okay. Fantastic Four is probably going to be those ones where it was like, it's going to be the reverse. When I first heard about it, I was like, because I'm automatically biased by the first two air quotes here, Fantastic Four movies that we had. So I saw Fantastic Four was getting another movie, and I was just, but when you see the trailer,
The best thing
It
about
looks-
the last two Fantastic Four movies, though, was Captain America.
yes.
Chris
Chris
Evans.
Evans proved that he can be he can play a superhero.
Yeah,
He can be the fun guy, but he can do serious role.
yeah, and it was
But-
great.
Fuck Ant-Man. Oh my god.
Ant-Man looks fun. There's a couple jokey parts in the preview where I'm like, I hope it gets played. I'm really...
Yeah.
Because Edgar Wright had a vision for it, and I would have loved to have seen Edgar Wright's, because I love Edgar Wright.
Mhm.
We talked about those movies. Edgar Wright's great, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is still one of my favorite, top 5 movies of all time for me. That movie, in my heart, is just fantastic. But, I want to see what it is. I still love Paul Rudd.
Yeah, I'm down for anything Paul Rudd does. It could be like a movie of Paul Rudd sitting on a toilet or something. I would watch it and laugh my ass off.
I think that's what This Is 40 is. It's Paul Rudd on a toilet at some
Yeah,
point.
but it was fucking hilarious. Like him just on the iPad sitting on a toilet for half
the
an
most
hour.
honest shot ever.
Yes.
No, but the Fantastic Four, I'm not exuberant to see it.
I think it's gonna be one of those where it's like
This is good.
I think it's gonna be pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm still baffled by people who are mad that Johnny Storm's black. I'm not mad that Johnny
No.
Storm's black. I'm mad that Sue isn't, because what it shows to me is they didn't want to have an interracial relationship when it's the girl who's black and the guy who's white.
Yeah.
And it's just like one of those things where it's like, if the Storms are black, the Storms are black. Let's just because the dad was black, right, in the preview.
Yeah,
So
we
why
don't know
isn't
what the
Sue?
mother looks like.
Well, no, I think Sue's adopted in it, but it's like they're supposed to
Possibly.
be twins.
Yeah.
Just hire. There's plenty of gorgeous black actresses who would jump at that role, who haven't been offered that kind of role. Like, other than Zoe Saldana, who's getting offered those roles who's not a white girl?
Yeah.
So yeah, cast her. Being black. Have the Storms be black, and have Reed Richards fall for a black. It's fucking 2015.
Exactly.
Right? We can get over the interracial relationship thing. Let it happen. And I'm fine with that. That's my only problem with that situation for casting. Other than that, it looks like it's gonna be, an action hero, superhero fodder.
Yeah. I'm
Whatever.
not gonna lie. Who's the actor they cast for the Thing?
Oh, is he British or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't remember his name. That kind of threw me for a loop. I'm like,
so far off topic.
we did.
Okay. Jurassic Park exceeded expectation. Jurassic World exceeded expectations. I'm really happy with it. I really liked it. You really liked it.
Oh fuck yeah.
It was a blast. After the credits, they played with people so bad. After the credits, for a long time, the theater was just playing the sounds of like the T-Rex footsteps.
Oh, it was brilliant. And
so
then there
you're just
were those
waiting.
There were those people behind us, the kids that were just like, "Oh, is there something? There's got to be something." Somebody told me there was something
And
after
the
the
whole
credits.
time, I'm just like, "There's nothing here, but this is brilliant because they're just
like,
making
it's
it."
not a
fucking with you.
fucking Marvel movie.
No, it's not.
And then the kids just like, "Oh, just look it up on YouTube. Let's just leave." And that was it. And it literally went on for like 6 or 7 minutes, just steps, just that.
And those steps, that sound, I didn't realize how much that plays into me.
Yes.
But hearing those steps without the visuals, without watching it, it still made my heart skip a beat and like race.
When I heard that, all I pictured was just ripples and water.
Exactly,
That's
and it was such a thing that's built into me now. That's how meaningful Jurassic Park is. That sound resonates through my body.
Yeah.
And in the
gave me
surround
goosebumps.
it was fantastic. So I thoroughly enjoyed that experience. There's a movie we watched on video recently that we saw it when we saw Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a preview, and I was like, that preview looks fun. And then I was like, but that's probably they put everything in the preview.
Yeah.
They did the Hollywood thing. They put everything in the preview. And we're talking about the movie Kingsman,
Secret Service,
which he made me watch because he saw it. He's like, "This is great."
And I loved it. It was
This
one
is
of those
fucking great.
where I would not let you say no, because we always had this. Yeah, but you love really shitty movies sometimes.
You do love shitty movies.
I know,
sometimes.
but this was one of those. I'm like, no, you have to watch it. You can't judge it without watching it.
And he was right. I should always see something, unless it's a Zack Snyder movie.
Those suits.
Those suits.
Oh yes.
Oh, those suits were sexy as hell.
Yes.
And as Jerry and I, if you see pictures of Jerry and I often, you'll notice we're normally in a shirt and tie or some form of jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, and Anne, his girlfriend, who obviously likes a man in that kind of clothing, as she's dating him, we were just like, those suits. I want that suit. Yeah, that one?
Mm-hmm.
We'd look good in that one. But besides the suits, it was like a less campy Roger Moore James Bond film. It was just fun. The villain was crazy, and he played it up, but it was like Sam Jackson.
It was that movie, but it wasn't that movie, and they kept saying that it's not that type of movie.
It was a love letter to those movies, though.
It was awesome.
It was fantastic. Sam Jackson's choice to use his actual natural lisp that he had before he started acting.
I kind of like to think of it as like, I wouldn't say it completely goes on to like Austin Powers, like the first part.
No,
it kind of touches on that, but it's more along the lines of like a Monty Python-esque, like a little bit. It's a little bit.
Not even that. What it is it's playing it straight again.
Yeah.
It plays to a joke. It doesn't play up a joke.
Yeah.
And I don't need something to play, I don't need to be beat over the head with something. I don't think audiences do either.
Yeah.
To understand a joke or understand a reference. Especially when you straight up tell you what the reference is. You don't have to be like, like James Bond,
Yeah.
He's going to say his name in reverse. I mean, he does at one point, and it's fucking great. Because it was the right moment to.
Yes.
But, like, I think that movie was really, it's just fun. And I like movies that are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many movies that are made to be, this is gonna be an epic. This is gonna be so heart-wrenching, and it's gonna be a true story that you'll always connect with. Shut the fuck, calm down. Just tell the story. Let the story talk for itself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to sell me on, you should feel things for this. It's cool, dude. If the movie's real, and it's true, and you did your job as a filmmaker, I'm gonna feel things for this. I should not see the strings.
Mm-mm.
And that's why, here's something I want to talk about, the Academy. The Academy for Motion Pictures upsets me greatly. Because every time I see a Best Picture nod, it's obvious.
Yes.
It's obvious what movies are going to get those nods every year. And
because they're artsy films that are made specifically...
Not even artsy. They're made to have that art aesthetic.
Well, there's a certain air of artsiness that I'm talking about.
Pretentiousness is what you mean.
That is only there specifically to try to win Oscars and Academies.
And it sucks because there are movies that do have that are really great movies.
Mm-hmm.
Imitation Game was phenomenal.
I cried.
Yeah, there's plenty of moments to cry, but it only takes you on so many parts of the emotional spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that doesn't give it... There's enough humor and fun. Like, okay, my favorite Academy Award-winning film, my favorite film of all time, is Casablanca. And yes, it is a studio picture from the studio age where they just fucking made them.
Yeah.
They gunned them out. They gunned out movies with their stars. And Warner Brothers actually made really great movies back then. And it is a gunned out... It is a piece of machine Hollywood.
Yes.
But it's so well done. There's such great humor. There's such great performances in it. There are moments when you smile. Moments when you feel patriotism for a whole nother... You feel patriotism for France at one moment there. And then there's the heartbreaking moments. There's drama. There's oh, fuck those Nazi scum.
Yeah.
Like, there's all of this in one movie. Right? And nowadays, I feel like the fodder for it's like, you'll feel in the human spirit, but all you'll really feel is, oh, we overcome sadness. But oftentimes they don't. And it's just the same thing where it's just like, I feel emotionally ragged out of it, and it's cool you got that emotion out of me sometimes. And sometimes they don't. Like, I didn't give a shit about Gravity. I didn't. It's this spectrum of what they could do with
swirly, spinny camera stuff and awesome sound.
And what sound design was great, and the look of it. Well, yeah, but the look of Avatar was good. It didn't make it a good film.
No.
The look of all the Lord of the Rings movies, and I'm going to catch fucking flack for this, but they're not great film. They're not. They're good fodder film, but they're overly long just to be overly pretty, which they spent millions of dollars to make New Zealand pretty, and Hercules' Legendary Journeys and Xena Warrior Princess prove that New Zealand is just pretty on its own. So Kiwis, good on you. You live on, like, the best island in the world. But, like, I don't need a shit ton of special effects to make New Zealand pretty, and they spent millions doing it. Hundreds of millions of dollars to do it. Dumb. And I don't want a movie that's just special effects and pretty. Like, I love Scott Pilgrim vs. the World with Met. And yes, there's a lot of special effects and it's pretty. But it's also this really cool, heartfelt story with subtle performances and over-the-top performances balanced out throughout. Like, you feel sad for Knife's Chow. You feel the heartbreak of Ramona and Scott. You laugh. You laugh out loud at parts. You get excited for an action scene in parts. It's got it all. And it'll never get a nomination. It barely got credit in the theaters. The best film of last year... And you know what the best film of last year was.
We have both agreed on it. Yeah, Guardians.
Guardians of the Galaxy is the best film that was made last year. It was made by someone who really loved it, really loved the material they were doing, by actors who depthly...
And to this point, would still be the leading role goes to the leader in both movies, Chris Pratt. Working his ass off on movies these days.
He adds so much humanity that you can't help but feel. You laugh when he laughs. You know that he's you get it. No matter what kind of honestly a Pratt he's playing, he is genuine.
Yes.
And you feel connected to him. I felt emotions for a fucking digitally animated raccoon.
Yeah.
I felt emotions for a tree voiced by Vin Diesel.
That says two words.
Yeah.
It's two phrases. That's it. Last phrase doesn't even change until the very end.
And that's it. It's fucking ridiculous. It is a minor dereliction from the phrase. And it's such a good movie.
It was.
Like, I cry when Groot dies. Only to be fucking elated when I see baby Groot.
Yeah.
A little CG dancing twig made me fucking jump out of my seat happy.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I laughed. You get emotional. There's actually, like, real coming-of-age shit for the character. Like, the characters all grow together. It's a phenomenal film. The special effects are amazing. The visual elements are amazing. It's not overly dark and gritty to make it real. The world is in Technicolor, people.
Yes.
I don't know when everyone thought, oh, gritty and dark is real. Fucking Vegas exists. Tokyo exists. Not everything is dark.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy that we live in a world full of full-spectrum colors, Zack Snyder.
Stop trying to turn Hollywood into a gangster film.
Right? Like, anyway.
Noir is dead.
Noir still has its place.
Well, not in comics.
No, not
in comic books.
Not
that
in
way.
Superman.
Yeah.
Batman is a noir film.
Batman would be.
But Superman isn't. And that's where he got it wrong. and that he just didn't treat Clark with respect. He didn't treat any of the people with respect.
Yeah, he didn't treat any of those.
Lois. Lois gets a pretty fair shake. That's about it. But we want to talk about stuff we like, and this is stuff we got to change, because I've noticed that we do spend an awful lot of time focusing on the negative parts about what we don't like in these movies. And yes, that is the reason we're here. That's the reason we get together, is that there was something you got excited about, and we explain why we're excited, and I make everyone figure out something they like in the movie. I want them to say something they like in the movie, even if it's just how cool the Dragon Balls look in Dragon Ball the movie. Like, they were cool. Those were neat.
Those are really cool.
I like Fast and Furious, how cool the cars are.
But I want people to acknowledge how many people get into this movie, and I want people to start explaining more about why they like movies. I want people to know that my favorite 3 films are Raiders of the Lost Ark, Casablanca, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I want them to know that we come at these things with with the idea of, I want to like this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you love films. You love The Shawshank Redemption, like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Like, we do love movies, and we do like a lot of the directors, and we do want to love the things we go into. And that's the whole idea. The whole idea of this is we went into the world optimistically, and we still want good things to exist. So I want people to focus more on what they would do differently, and who did good in this movie. Like, I know that we have Jurassic World coming up with a friend. Samuel Becker. He's smart and funny, and there were just things that he didn't feel lived up to it. Godzilla didn't live up to Nick in Fur, but they knew what they would change.
Yeah.
And I want people to know what they are going to change and how they would tell the story differently. Even if it is just like our friend Nick Sharp going, they should have stayed closer to what Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z had been. You could have started with the Saiyan saga.
Yes.
And like, he knew what he wanted to. And I don't want it to be negative as much. There are negative things. There are things that just don't live up to our expectations. And there's always going to be things that don't live up to your expectations when you build them up in your head. You and I got in arguments about Harry Potter for like 2 hours the other day.
Yes.
Because you constantly compare it to the book, and I make the dereliction. As long as it's true to the characters, which I think it always has been. At the end of the day, and I think that's why J.K. Rowling loves it so. I don't think the creators of Superman would have loved Man of Steel.
No, definitely not.
And there's so much that we can focus on that's good, and while I say I don't like the Academy and big Hollywood, I don't like them right now. I find more and more as I get older, I love all the direct-to-video. I love so many more direct-to-video films are in my top 10. Like, we talk about, I watch a lot because I love Grace Helbig and Hannah Hart and Mamrie Hart. Mamrie Hart wrote the screenplay. I love Camp Dakota. It's a fucking film about a girls' camp. And here I am, a grown man, I'm just like, I love this movie. It's funny, it's heartfelt, you can tell everyone who worked on it loved, and that's what I love about those films. You get Wet Hot American Summer, you've got Camp Dakota, there's a camp theme coming up, and I never went to camp. Maybe I'm just jealous that I never went to camp.
Oh, you don't really, I mean, I went to a camp when I was younger. It was a Bible camp that my mom shipped me off to.
I worked at camp.
Yeah, it was the devil.
But, like, the Bible camp was the devil. But, like, that's it. Like, I like all these movies that are made with these budgets because you find these gems in them that are the opposite of what we go in with I Want to Like This. We go into these big Hollywood ones or these ones that are going to be in the theaters with all these expectations that get disappointed. I click on something on Netflix, a Netflix series or anything like that, just being like, the synopsis sounds passable, let's try this, right? And then I'll go into it and be like, there's all these performers in it, and you're shocked to see them, and you're like, this is really enjoyable. Like, okay, it's campy, okay, it's stupid. Like, Behaving Badly?
Yes.
Behaving Badly, I got you to watch. And it stars a young guy, but it's got, like, Mary Elizabeth Parker in it. It's Carrie Elves is in it. Like, Selena Gomez is in it. Heather Graham is so goddamn gorgeous in it to this day.
Yeah.
And, but, like, there's all these actors in it. You're like, what the hell are all these people doing in this schlock film? And then you watch it and you're like, okay, so it's stupid, it's funny, it doesn't have the biggest budget, but it's really enjoyable, and you can tell everyone put their heart into making this film and had fun doing it. And there's something about watching people, even when they're playing a dramatic part, where they know they're chewing into it, they're biting into it, and they've got it, but you know that they enjoyed being on set. There's something about that transfers.
And especially, like, nowadays, where you touched on it when you talked about Casablanca, Hollywood really has that way of just spitting out the same trite ideas. Whereas if you come at a movie that's, especially a direct-to-DVD or a direct-to-Netflix or independent films, they have that air of, what can we do that hasn't been done? What hasn't been well, like, story-wise, like, what hasn't been touched on? Like, the one that I keep coming back to, It Follows.
You've seen this, I haven't seen this yet.
This was the exact opposite of everything that this podcast and what we stand for. I heard...
Not what we stand for. We stand for optimism and liking things.
It was what this podcast is about. Like, I heard about this, and it was literally me and my friend were gonna go to the theater because we didn't have anything to do, and it was like a week after we watched Kingsman, and this was the only other thing in theaters that we hadn't seen that sounded like, he's like, let's watch it, and I was like, what's it about? Pull it up on IMDb. The synopsis is, this is a kind of like a horror movie about this thing that follows you and kills you if you have sex with the wrong person, basically. And I went off. I was like, I'm not going to watch this. This is going to be the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But the way that it was done, and come to find out after I saw it, it won awards at Cannes. Like,
yeah, the way it sounds, I have to see it. I have to watch it. It's like
it was an independent movie. Like, it was, like, no person in their right mind in big Hollywood would hear this out as a script and be like, you're making an allegory about AIDS in a horror movie? That's dumb. Get out of my office. But because it's an independent film that was made for festivals, they put their heart and soul into this movie, and it turned out fantastic.
Well, that's like like what Clerks. Clerks was an independent film, and then they got Miramax to buy it. Mm-hmm. And you can tell, like, everyone painstakingly did that because they wanted to do this film, and they wanted to make this film, and Kevin put it all on the line making that film. And I love that independent spirit. And, like, Wet Hot American Summer was one of those. Like, a bunch of comedy people got together to make that film, and then they kind of sold it. I love that. Like, that's how I feel like I'm going to feel about, like, I feel, everyone talks it up, and I've heard good lines from it, but it's such a crazy concept that I'm worried that it's going to, like, it's Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it because I'm afraid that the way everyone talks it up for me, and I really do enjoy Chris Evans. He's fucking Captain America to me from this day on. I'm gonna watch it. I've just been really leery of it because I don't want it to not be. I'm afraid of how big people built it up in my head.
To be honest, the first time I watched it, it was one of those. It was like, oh, that was really cool and everything. But then I watched it again, and I started noticing little things that bugged me. Of actually watching film. Like, there are several plot holes, and there are things here that every movie that's kind of not all like. It's really good. I liked it a lot, but there are a lot of things that weren't touched on, and the one thing that I did not like about it is the fact that the way that the movie is it's so quick. There are so many quick ups and down, up and down, up and down. As far as emotions, it's like, oh, there's good, then there's bad. There's good, then there's bad.
They don't let anything play?
Yeah, no. That's the only thing. It's like, it's just a constant up and down travel on a roller coaster. It never levels out.
Okay. Just, we can't get too much into it because I haven't seen it. I want to see it. I'm leery of it. There's movies that you're afraid to get excited about because everyone talks about it.
Yeah. And
that can ruin it for you because if you get excited and you build it up in your head because everyone else talks about it, it can never live up to that. And that's why I hate hearing reviews. That's why I hate seeing previews because it's all this build up that you build it up in your head. And I think that's why our podcast exists a lot. Mm-hmm. But I think it's honestly a lot nowadays because there's so many movies being made about properties that already exist that you're already kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
And I think it sucks. But I like that we can talk about stuff that we're optimistic about. Like, you have to see this. I want you to see this movie. You don't have to see it, but I want you to see this movie because I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
The Babadook.
Yes.
The Babadook. It's this horror film from like New Zealand or Australia or something.
It's about a child, like a horror story that turns reality. Isn't it?
No, kind of. When you see it and you're like, you know how you talked about AIDS? This is another referential thing to something that's going on in the family. It's really good, and it's not like Insidious or any of those crap just play for the demons. Like, this movie's really good, and there's moments, and you care about the characters, and you get into that kind of headspace. It's fantastic. If you let yourself just go with it, it's great. There's a bunch of movies that are, these movies that you're going to see on Netflix all the time. You're like, this never got a release. I want to watch those movies. Sit down in my house with my friends, watch those movies more than I want to watch movies in theaters half the time.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's a lot cheaper is one of those things.
It's not that it's not even a lot cheaper, because I love being in the theater. I love being in the theater. I love the communal. Like, I hate people, but I like hearing everyone's reactions at once. Like, hearing people clap for Jurassic World today, awesome.
Yeah.
And, like, I love those moments. When we saw Guardians of the Galaxy, there were clapping moments. There were moments. There were out loud laughter moments. I love that. And being an entertainer, stand-up comedian, professional wrestler, and just all-around storyteller, I love that. I love communal understanding of something. Like, that's something I go into public things, and I go into theater things wanting to like it. Because I want to have that experience. And we miss that with a lot of the Netflix stuff. But you can experience one-on-one. But if you can get groups of friends together, there's never a time you shouldn't get groups of friends together with Netflix, find a movie you've never heard of, and just go with it.
Oh, we did that one night with the ABCs of Death. I kind of loved that movie. I really did.
Unironically?
No, I did. I loved it. Like, because it was just like, it was so over the top for so many scenes, but it was just like each letter is an independent film and just a short film, and it was just like, this is really clever.
You know what movie you should watch again?
What?
Because it's not as terrible as it seems. MacGruber is a much better film.
I love MacGruber, yeah.
The first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, this is terrible. And then I watched it again, I'm like, there's so much that because I went into it with like
a distaste, yeah.
Yeah. It colored it. Everything has to be given a chance, is what I was saying. I will eventually see Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I don't really think I'm going to see it in theaters.
Oh, I'm not going to see it in theaters.
I don't want to.
I don't want to give Zack Snyder that much money.
I'll probably wait for the DVD release and rent it.
Yeah.
Because
But like, I want to give everything a chance, and I want to be optimistic, and I want to, from this point on, start asking people like. Before a guest starts talking about why they got excited about something, I want to know what movies they love. Like, I want to know what qualifies as a good movie to them and why, before they shit on something else. Because I want anyone who listens to understand this is what the highest art for me is.
Yeah.
This is why this will never be close. Like, there has to be a scale.
Well, I mean, it doesn't always have to be like it'll never be close. Like your friend that says he wants to do Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Like he really wanted to like it, and he did like it, but it just wasn't up to his expectations. It just fell slightly short.
He thinks there's some things that could have been done and connected better. I think the Jurassic World obviously lays it open for Jurassic World 2 and
so excited.
New Jurassic Worlds, because it's weird for me. I keep stuttering on Jurassic World. Because I want to say park.
I want to say park, yeah. Because it's been Jurassic
20
Park,
years.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't.
So, what are we leaving here today with? We loved Jurassic World.
Yes, we did.
We really dig Kingsman. I really want to watch that again now.
You have some movies to watch.
You have some movies to watch.
To watch.
Yeah, you do.
I don't think you've seen Snowpiercer yet either.
Anyone listening to this who hasn't seen a movie like Behaving Badly, or Snowpiercer, or Babadook, or Camp Dakota, go on Netflix, find a movie you've not heard of. They're like, read the synopsis, be like, I can kill an hour and a half. And just try it. Because some of them are terrible rip-offs of movies, and they're just trying to cash in on a buck. And then some of them are just ideas that someone wanted to make a movie, and they did.
I did that the other day, actually. It was It was a Disney movie. Like, this movie would have looked like it would have been on the Disney Channel that was on Netflix. It was R.L. Stein's Fear Hour.
Yes!
I liked that movie a lot. But it had like the teenagers that play on the Disney Channel all the time, and it was like, okay, this was actually pretty decent. There were some notes of like, oh, this is clearly for kids in the Disney Channel, but it was still a pretty good like movie all around.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can kill an hour and a half.
Right.
And I did.
Be willing to sacrifice an hour and a half for something that might be a gem.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do you go to theaters nowadays and you sacrifice 2 hours for something that might be a turd?
Yeah.
And, God. Give independent movie writers, producers, directors a chance to inspire you is, I think, the end of the day. I hope we get people who want to talk about independent movies more.
Yeah.
I hope we talk about independent movies more. And I think once every couple of episodes, we should pick a couple of movies that are the reverse.
Mm-hmm.
And we should ask other people who are guests to make segments on about movies that are the reverse for them.
Something that they really didn't want to see. That
Yeah,
they
so we
found and just
put on a compilation episode of
loved it.
actual things that they liked. Oh, crap. That's it for today. I hope you like this mishmash episode of just me and Jerry talking with a couple chime-ins from Manhogger. For I Want to Like This, I'm Thomas Sinclair. You can find me on Twitter at the T Sinclair. You can find me on Facebook as the Thomas Sinclair. Jerry, you can find actually at the I Want to Like This page. For Twitter, it's at I Want to Like This, and on Facebook, it's I Want to Like This. Please feel free to comment in the section below, like this, subscribe, give us some feedback, because if there's movies that you thought were going to be like crap off movies, then you watched it and you got really excited and you had to share it with your friends, you just had to share it with your friends by word of mouth, tell us about that movie. Give us suggestions. We'll watch more movies. We obviously love movies. And once again, I hope you enjoyed this. It's not our normal format, but we will be back to our normal format next week. Go watch a movie. Click on Netflix, Hulu. Find something that someone you've never heard of made, and go into it with an open mind. You might like it.